Antonio Pierce, the head coach of the Raiders, spoke yesterday. Of course, he was asked about Davante's status with this quote-unquote hamstring issue that has popped up. And somebody went ahead and did ask him and, did us all a solid and said, hey, what about that IG post that you supposedly liked that talked about Davante being on another team? Let's take a listen.
Davante's dealing with a hamstring. He's rehabbing, and the rest of us are focused on Denver.
You're going to be here in the building today? Or?
He's supposed to be rehabbing.
I guess the social media post earlier this week, was that something that was accidental on your part in terms of liking the post? Or?
Yeah, I'm just focused on Denver.
Where is the relationship with you? And
me and Davante talk often.
Have you talked to him since all of this?
I believe that between me and Davante. Business as usual, just got to keep rolling. I mean, it's NFL. Things come up every day. Since I've taken over this job, it's been obstacles. So just another one.
So there we go. It clears up a lot. He just strikes me as somebody who's over it. He just is over it. He wants him to be gone, and he wants to just focus on the team and just not have to deal with this crap.
There must be like way more going on behind the scenes than we are privy to or we realize, because if he is over it, it's just interesting that he's your best player. Maybe you'd say Max Crosby on defense. Maybe you consider him that. But to not have him, understanding how much more difficult it makes your things for you offensively, I don't know. But I think he's probably, as at least the first-time head coach at the NFL level, he's probably like, dude, I just want guys who want to be here. And if you don't want to be here, let's go find you somewhere else. Let's try to get what we can for you and move on. Like I know a lot of players who feel that way when they know the guy's disgruntled. It's like you don't want to be with someone who's bringing down the vibes or bringing down the work environment because they want to be somewhere else. No one wants that. So I can understand his frustration, especially if this has been going on a lot longer behind the scenes. Like that makes the entire situation difficult when your best player and the guy that you need to be the leader, you need to be the one that's pushing everyone else, in the back of his mind or in your private conversations with him, wants to be somewhere else. That's never a good feeling.
Didn't Antonio Brown come out and say that Davante Adams was not happy in Las Vegas? I want to say that's what I heard. Did I hear that?
No, you're thinking of was it Deshaun Jackson?
Was it?
It might have been Deshaun, but I know there was somebody.
Was it? It was Deshaun.
Yeah, it was Deshaun.
Maybe
Jackson.
it was Deshaun Jackson.
And
Maybe.
And then Davante.
And people
Adams.
were like, sometimes he needs to kind of temper what it is that he's saying or something.
And
to
by the
that
way,
effect.
I like to apologize, and I think we all should apologize. Sorry about that. I think Tay said that he did not ever.
I only
speak.
know it was 1-7, by the way.
1-7.
Yeah.
1-7.
All right. So I think Tay said that he did, has had a couple of conversations with Deshaun Jackson and totally pushed back on it. I swear to God, I think whatever Antonio Pierce saw on tape during the Carolina game when he talked about business decisions, right then and there it was, all right, this guy doesn't want to be here. He didn't, hold up his end of the bargain. We look terrible. We got to move on. And we got to let people know that this is not going to be acceptable here when I'm the head coach, because he's not played since. There's been clearly a divide. Now he's got this phantom hamstring injury that's popped up, and now you've got this back and forth to where Antonio Pierce doesn't even just give short answers, does the whole Belichick thing. I think he's just over it. I think he saw enough of it in the Carolina game, and that damn Andy Dalton ended the Davante Adams era in Las Vegas when he went in there and lit their ass on fire and ruined it all. So if you're looking for somebody to blame if you're a Raiders fan, don't blame Tay or 1-7. Blame the Red Rifle, who went in there and ruined everything for everybody.
Dang,
it's not been the same
Rifle.
Since.
Dang.
Just saying,
Can they win without him? That's the biggest question that I came up with was, can they win without having, you're already, in my
they did last
estimation,
week?
I know they did last week, and that's, I feel like that's now the question is moving forward. Can this team compete? Listen, I know we continue to say at least Brady, you sing, Minshew's praises, his stat line looks solid. I get it.
Oh, that's about to change.
I'm not a buyer of.
Damn.
I'm not a buyer. I'm not a buyer of Gardner Minshew. You guys know I'm not a buyer of him.
I'm a believer. There's a difference.
Okay.
I try to believe in him because I want to see for a lot of these
Gotta
guys like
believe.
a Sam Darnold type redemption story. Like I think that's one of the best stories. You know?
I'm not an all the way believer in Sam Darnold either. I'm not an all the way believer in these guys, and I just feel like at some point you're going to realize and understand why they're who they are within their ecosystem of the National Football League. That's my. I mean, in some ways, I hope I'm wrong because it would be a great story. But in reality, my mind says this is not going to last. So if I am the Las Vegas Raiders and I'm looking at who my quarterbacks are and I have it in Minshew and O'Connell, and now we're not going to play Davante Adams anymore, your best player now becomes Brock Bowers by default. And really kind of the only real weapon of note that you have on this offense, what are you going to do? Like, what does this look like moving forward? You're already shorthanded. How do you navigate the AFC West? How do you navigate a schedule that you have, which it doesn't look as daunting when you look at some of the teams and what they're doing now, but for what it's worth, they are going to play some pretty competitive teams. How do you measure the season? How do you prognosticate what this season should be when you're looking at what's taking place now with Davante Adams not going to be, participating with this team?
I can tell you one thing, obviously, we're going to see more of, and this would help once Michael Mayer is back. But Brock Bowers is going to get more touches. I think they're going to run the football.
Got to run.
Zamir White, that's going to be part of it. Mm-hmm. The hard thing is maybe they're a buyer before the trade deadline for a receiver somewhere else that's unhappy, or maybe someone's in a contract situation that's not really working out. You never know, but the Raiders could find themselves in that spot. Or if you're looking into next year's draft, there's some draft eligible guys who I think could come in and make an impact for them. Maybe the Raiders want to go that direction. It's hard to tell, but I would say, looking at things right now, I would be saying, man, like they've got the combination of Michael Mayer, Brock Bowers, those two, as well as a running game that they're going to probably lean on pretty heavily until they can figure some things out in the passing game.
I mean, we should just get AP on and ask him. Just get to the bottom.
Y'all should call him up, man. Yeah, y'all should hit him up.
Yeah. Think so.
See if we could get him on.
What do you think he would do if Lee just called him, LeVar?
He probably wouldn't answer.
But how would Lee actually, if he did answer, how would he respond to him, you think?
Hey, buddy.
AP be like, who the bleep is this? Why are you calling my phone?
What are you drinking?
Yeah, that would be the end of the call. He'd probably hang up.
Well, I mean, Lee, if you want to give that a whirl, we could see about that.
Yeah, I can see if he's up and about, see what he's sipping on.
Yeah.
Dang.
Maybe some coffee.
Hey, Lee, for all of our
spike.
sakes,
Yeah.
let's not.
Oh,
Let's
you don't
go
want
ahead
to
and not do that.
not talk to AP?
Not talk to AP, not just have you be pestering him, at 3:41 a.m.
He's at the facility. He's just getting started.
I
can
don't
help him
doubt
out.
that. This is like his time to get done what he wants to get done before the day starts, and everyone starts inundating him with other stuff.
Oh, okay.
Dang.
All right.